Education is a fundamental right and it's important for achieving full human potential, developing an equitable and just society, and promoting national development. Providing universal access to quality education is the key to India's continued ascent and leadership on the global stage in terms of economic growth, social justice, and equality, scientific advancement, national integration, and cultural preservation. Universal high quality education, in short, is a must. The Global Education Development Agenda, reflected in the Goal 4 of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, adopted by India in 2015, seeks to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all by the year 2030. Such a lofty goal will require the entire education system to be reconfigured to support and foster learning so that all of the critical targets and the goals of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development can be achieved. Indeed, with the quickly changing employment landscape and global ecosystem, it is also becoming increasingly critical that children not only learn, but more importantly, learn how to learn. Education thus must move towards less content and more towards learning about how to think critically and solve problems, how to create and have a multidisciplinary approach to solving challenges. The curriculum must include basic arts, crafts, humanities, games, sports, and fitness, amongst other important subjects, in addition to science and mathematics, to develop all aspects and capabilities of learning and make education more well-rounded and useful. Education must build character, enable learners to be ethical, rational, compassionate, and caring, while at the same time prepare them for gainful, fulfilling employment. The gap between the current state of learning outcomes and what is required must be bridged through undertaking major reforms that bring the highest quality, equity, and integrity to the system, from early childhood right up to higher education. I will not take much of your time and request Professor T.V. Katimani, who will share his views to begin with and enlighten us with his thoughts in the subject. With these words, I now invite Professor T.V. Katimani to kindly share his views.
Thank you. Good evening to all. Namaskar. I extend my heartfelt thanks to Merchants Chamber of Commerce and Industries, Kolkata, to organize this wonderful webinar. Mrs. Seema Sapru, Dr. Prashant Kumar Das, and my colleagues, friends. I am happy to participate in this event because it is organized by Merchants Chamber of Commerce. All along the way, we academic administrators and NEP speaks about linking, joining the hands of academia industry. Mr. Akash, I'm so happy that industry has invited us. They want to know about education, how education will be helpful to develop industry and to develop the country, nation, motherland. As we all know, we have 945 universities and 46,000 colleges in the country. We have very good, resourceful teachers, researchers, many institutions, higher learning centers are extremely doing well, IITs, ICERs, and central universities, private universities, state universities, state government run universities are extremely doing well. Earlier, policies used to talk about only public funded institutions. This time, NEP 2020 speaks about private players too, because private players are equally serving the nation, society, by developing a educated society. Now, NEP speaks about classroom and working place dynamics, how they can meet. There should not be any distance between teaching and practice, teaching and innovation, innovation and the society. How the problems of society should emerge in the classroom. The classroom teaching should emerge in the research activity, plus again, societal approach. So NEP speaks about bridging the gap between the teaching, the research with the higher education, primary education or any education, research institutes and the society. The education, higher education must know what is the basic needs of the industry, the business houses, the business class, and what is the need of the consumers, what is the need of the society. For example, I would like to tell a small example. Drinking water for every household. It's a very costly affair in our country, or we can say in the third world. Corporations, even from panchayats, gram panchayats, municipalities, corporations, has to spend crores of rupees to supply of pure drinking water to its civic societies. In India, we have a traditional system of knowledge to harvest rainwater, to preserve that rainwater years together. We have a most frugal, cheap technology, science, along with our society. Fortunately or unfortunately, because I am also part of this education. I am a teacher. I was a vice chancellor. Again, I am vice chancellor. We could not study. We could not introduce this technology of Indian tradition to the students, to the textbooks, to the society, to the research. In Ran Kutch of Gujarat, in Rajasthan, they will get rain once in a while, once in 2 years, 3 years, or very less rain every year they will get. But they will preserve a drop of water of the rainfall, and they have very systematic, very cheap maintenance system and excellent management of pure, crystal clear drinking water. This knowledge system should have been emerged in the textbooks. Our teachers, our researchers, or academic administrators would have been taken our students, our textbooks, our institutions to study that, and which can be replicated in all over the country, all parts of country. Another one example, I would like to give it to this August House. We have very good researchers in this society, Indian society. There are many scientists who have wonderful degrees, trained in world-class labs, working in world-class labs and doing extremely good job. They are trained to be very sophisticated engineers, scientists, social scientists, this, that. But we have scientists, we have engineers, we have social scientists, never learned anything from school. They may be first standard dropout, second standard dropout, third standard dropout. Many tribes, which my university in Amarkantak studied, they are never seen schools, but they are extremely good botanists. They are very good Ayurveda doctors, Gunias, Vaidis. They have wonderful knowledge of many medicines, modern medicines, Ayurveda medicine. I would like to give an example of a third standard dropout who is called as Thomas Alva Edison of India. This third standard dropout scientist was requested by PS to Sir C.V. Raman, the Nobel laureate, to give an appointment to Dr. C.V. Raman to meet him. Sir M. Vishwesvaraya, a greatest scientist of the world, has gone to his place, Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu, to meet and discuss many sophisticated researches, inventions. This person, Gopal Swami Doraiswamy Naidu of Coimbatore, who has requested government of British government to establish polytechnic in Coimbatore in the year 1945, and that polytechnic is the first polytechnic of our land, India. He has invented several inventions he has made in electrical, agricultural, mechanical, and automobile. Professor Das is here from very prestigious IIT. He has invented kerosene run fan, projection TV, mechanical calculator. He was a bus owner first time in Tamil Nadu. So he has invented bus ticket vending machine, electric razor by using foreign blade, German blade. He has invented electric motor. He has invented electric motor much before Lakshman Rao Kirloskar. My merchant folk, my colleagues of the merchant community must know about the importance of Kirloskars. Much before Kirloskar, he has invented that his first Kirloskar, Lakshman Rao Kirloskar, who was a drawing teacher, who has invented, who has built a wonderful, a big kingdom of business, Kirloskar Wadi. So he has invented pump sets. Now I would like to apprise my colleagues. The whole pump set market, domestic as well as non-domestic irrigation in the country is 25 crores worth business. Out of this 25 crores worth business, Coimbatore's share is 1,200 crores. Almost half of the business of pump sets is by Coimbatore. I would like to apprise my friends ask a question, why this scientist life, inventions, his style of researching, his style of invention, why it is not part of our syllabus? Why the higher research institutions never taken serious this person from Coimbatore? At the same time, since it is a webinar of merchants, I know the history of merchants of India, how people migrated from all walks of life to Kolkata to make their future. How Rajasthanis, Gujaratis, Punjabis migrated to Kolkata, even South Indians migrated to Kolkata when Kolkata was the capital of business as well as politics of India. These things should be part of our syllabus in primary school, high school, college, universities, our B schools, business schools, IIMs should teach these lessons, how Birlas made their future from Kolkata, how this cotton industry made agriculture is rich, how these cotton industries of nearby area of Coimbatore started in 100 years before, started cotton mills now. The area of nearby Coimbatore, Erode, and other places supplying their knitwear productions to the whole world. All big business MNCs are importing knitwear from India, from this particular place. Once upon a time, Ludhiana has made the future of our country. But unfortunately, we academicians never thought of these things, these skills of our own land must be infused, introduced to our young minds. These introductions, these examples will definitely inspire the young minds, the tender minds, and they will make future of our country. I know if this is out of NAP, but this is the spirit of national education policy. A student from high school, primary school should learn through his own mother tongue, her own mother tongue, minimum up to 6th standard, 5th standard. Then after 6th, a small skill of our own habitat, of our own society. That may be carpentry, that may be goldsmith, or maybe blacksmith, or any small skill which can be done without spending much money, introduced to students to learn. Yes, other than reading and writing, yes, we need to write and read. We need to numeric knowledge, but at the same time, we must know small skills. Culinary art is also a big art. Food industry is a big industry, but we Indians, academic Indians, our academia never thought of. We must take it up much more, many more Culinary art institutions should come up in the society, cater the needs of the society. NAP speaks about these skills should be introduced to students from primary level itself. And we must teach our students in the tender age in their own mother tongue. Even tribal students should be taught in their own mother tongue. Then in college level, high school level, or post high school level, there should be no stream of science, arts, commerce. The students should go together, learn as they like. The fish should be allowed to swim in the water. The monkey should be allowed to climb the tree. Now the situation is we are going to force the fish to climb the tree, and the monkey should swim in the water. This was the situation of our system. Now there are no streams in after SSLC, high school. Anybody can learn, anybody can chase their own passion and taste. So in degree, 2 majors and 2 minors, these equal 4 subjects, one can make the future. In our society, to make a future the meaning was you have to get a government job or a private job with a reputed firm. And now NEP speaks about one can establish their own home industries, business avenues, and they can offer jobs. These are a few points regarding national education policy, talking about that. At the same time, NEP talks about, because there are experts who have chosen their own domain. I'm just trying to do that without touching the domains of my colleagues. I would like to explain some issues. Another important issue I will touch, and I will conclude this thing. There is a special reference to equity and inclusion in higher education as well as schools. It is not about reservations. It is not about percentage. It speaks about open up possibilities that can lift both individuals as well as communities out of the cycles of disadvantage. Cycles of disadvantage. This cycles of disadvantage may be religious, may be social, may be financial, may be because of gender, because of geographical problems, physical disabilities, transgenders. The education must know the cycles of disadvantages. Making equality in higher education as well as primary education of opportunities available to all, especially there is a word in NEPs, SEDGs, that is socio-economically disadvantaged groups. Now these disadvantaged, socially economically disadvantaged groups are called as SCs, STs, transgender, women, so and so. The dynamics and also many reasons for exclusion of SEDGs from the education system are common across school and higher education. Poverty, inaccessibility, this, that. Furthermore, there must be continuity across stages to ensure sustainable reform of education. NEP speaks about certain facets of exclusion which are more intense in higher education, such as to include lack of knowledge of higher education opportunities. Very fundamental, very basic issues that many students of our country doesn't know about what are the opportunities in higher education, what are the knowledge domains of higher education, what are the economic opportunities of higher education, the cost of pursuing higher education, the financial constraints always playing a very important role to enter into education. Even though very small, you know, reason I would like to quote. Many doesn't know about admission processes. I have seen this in Amarkantak, in Madhya Pradesh. We have done something in this area. And we have geographical and language barriers too. So NEP speaks about mother tongue education in primary level, and furthermore, NEP speaks about we should be able to establish higher education institutions who could give education in Indian languages and multilingual systems. So we must know lack of appropriate student support mechanisms, they should be improved. So NEP speaks about earmark suitable government funds for the education of SEDGs. Set clear targets, higher educational GREs, general enrollment ratios. We must be able to know the difficulties of aspirational districts of our country. We have 115 aspirational districts who are having very low rate of primary education, very high rate of dropout in primary education as well as high school education. Special education zones which containing more number of SEDGs should be taken care of. Higher education institutions can teach in, I have already said, local Indian languages as well as bilingually. The scholarship, no, we are not talking about fellowship. Scholarship to everybody who is in need of support. These scholarship support should be for public students who are learning in public institutions as well as private higher education institutions. And at the same time, institutions must know the importance of outreach programs, how to reach the society, how to enrich the society, how to inspire the society to send their children for a good education. To teach the society, education can make wonders in the society. HEC should know about the problem of fee structure in higher education institutions, private funded and public funded. We must be able to mitigate opportunity costs and fees for pursuing higher education. make curriculum more inclusive. I would like to spare some few minutes regarding this point. Make curriculum more inclusive.
If they already exist.
The curriculum must include Indian society. The curriculum must be able to teach what is going on around us. The habitat should be included in curriculum. We have very special practices in every society. One example I would like to quote. In Bengali society, there is one practice of making jaggery from third tree. We treat, Indian society treats this jaggery is very pure, organic, and it has medicinal value. Then this technique should be involved in educational. Many techniques in the whole country. Local practices, local technologies, local science of any sector should be introduced. So we should make curriculum more inclusive. This is how education, higher education as well as primary education, can be more, become more inclusive. So, in nutshell, focus on socio-economically disadvantaged groups, gender identities such as particularly female and transgender individuals, socio-cultural identities such as SCs, STs, OBCs, and minorities, geographical identities such as students from villages, small towns, and aspirational districts, disabilities including learning disabilities, socio-economic conditions such as migrant communities, low-income households, children in vulnerable situation, victim of or children of victims of trafficking. Please try to understand. Victim of trafficking are children of victims of trafficking. Orphans, including child beggars in urban areas and the urban poor. Our education should include all these things. I agree with the word competition, that we should be able to exhibit our strength, capacity in the global area. But before to reach global standard, we should reach our own gully mohalle. We should reach our own the store chains which are run by pops and moms, the petty businesses, the carpentry, which is the most important industry of the Indian, which has Indian legacy, blacksmithery, and many more industries which can be introduced immediately, included in the academia, and academia can flourish like anything. These things now, after implementation of NEP, will be part of our classroom teaching, will be part of our lab work. This is how academia and industry can work together. They can complementary to each other to flourish, to bloom, to support the students, to support the industry, to support the society. Thank you very much. You have given me an opportunity to talk about little out of box thoughts about academia as well as industry. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Namaskar.
Thank you, Professor Kattimani, for your valuable words and sharing with us the importance of incorporating our culture in our education system. Now, moving forward, I would like Srimati Seema Saprum ma'am to take over and talk about the NEP in our current school education system, actually, to be precise, and what are her thoughts on that, actually.
Okay, good evening, everyone. And I've been waiting for this because I'm very, very excited about this new education policy. And I thought we waited for about 36, 34 years. And, you know, the gestation period was just about too long. And finally, we've got this NEP, which is, I think, published after extensive consultations and, I guess, deep diligence. And I think it's the most important policy document for India to somehow reimagine what could be the educational paradigm. Now, we have to actualize the potential of our country, our human resource. So, if you remember, the document was for about 484 pages. When I was told about this, I said, my God, when will I read about it? When will I get through this 484 pages? But finally, it was turned to 65 pages, and I have read each word of it. And I am going to share with you something which I think each one of you will be interested in, because the parents, teachers, school managements, and the students, everybody will be very happy to know that there are certain things. If this policy is implemented in its true spirit, I can assure you the face of the country will change, and we will be a superpower, and we'll be like absolutely wonderful. That the children will be learning. It's going to be children will be what shall I say? There'll be deep-rooted pride among children in being Indians, which is something very, very important. Once again, there's going to be inclusive education, which Sir has already mentioned. There's going to be development and growth of conceptual learning, critical thinking, resilience, which I think is very important. Ability to work in groups, peer assessment, peer tutoring, self-assessment. All these things are there, but I am going to talk about now the basic framework which people should understand what exactly it's going to be like. So what happens in the foundation stage? Earlier we said that it was like 10 plus 2, and everything, the entire the energy, the entire focus was on class 10 and class 12. And I feel extremely happy that for the first time now it's 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, and they've said that there's going to be a foundation stage, which is going to be a 3-year preschool. So you have to really, really understand that this is universal provisioning of quality ECCE. I think when you talk about universal provisioning, which means each and every child coming from a highly affluent family, or a child coming from very, very poor family, disadvantaged background, but everybody will get this ECCE, be it in Anganwadi, be it in Ashram Shila, be it in pre-nursery, be it in Balvatika. And there is something so beautiful about it, that children who come from pre-nursery to grade 1, in case they are not ready to be in grade 1, there's going to be a 3-month interim period where these children are going to be trained, and they are going to be made ready to go to class 1, which is fantastic. Okay, now let's move to the preparatory stage, which is for classes 3 to 5. So it's going to be activity-based curricula. Next, we move to the middle school stage. Now, middle school stage, I think that's the most interesting part. They've said 10 days of bagless classes for these children. 10 days, they will only be doing vocational training, and they won't be bringing bags with them. a beautiful thing, absolutely wonderful. And then secondary stage, they say 4 years for grades classes 9, 10, 11, and 12. And in these grades, they have the freedom to choose their own subjects. There's no this thing fixed streams, commerce, humanities, and sciences. So the best part is children pick up sociology with physics and history with chemistry and whatever. So they choose subjects of their own choice. And there is a flexibility in, the way these children answer the questions. Another thing that I see is there's going to be an examination which is going to be in grades 3, 5, and 8. Now, when we're talking about these examinations, we must realize one thing, that here, when we're talking about classes 3, 5, and 8, so everybody is, getting one big, they're getting stressed out. How will these children, little children, take the examination? But remember, these examinations are not for seeing who's passed and who's failed. These examinations are to find out whether our learning outcomes have been met or not. So it's such a wonderful thing to do. So if this this policy, it's such a strong vision document. If it is actually implemented, it'll make so much of change to everything, of course. And then after that, there's so much of talk about our this thing, what is it called, our teacher training. Now what happens is, we're talking about changes in the curriculum, we're talking changes in the in various fields, in conceptual learning. But are the teachers who are going to be teaching them, are the teachers ready? Poor things, we'll tell the children, okay, fine, you do conceptual learning. But who's teaching them? People like us, who've never been exposed to this kind of teaching and learning. So we have to be first trained to do this. So this, they've said that 50 hours of mandatory CPD, which is continuous professional development, that will happen for teachers, which is going to empower the teachers, and the teachers will become much better as facilitators. Please tell me what time do I have, because as teachers I'll continue. We have this habit of, teachers have this habit of continuing and keep talking and all that. Anyway, so there was something else about languages also. Everybody said, now what will happen? They're forcing us to do Sanskrit. I'm sorry, they've never said you should do Sanskrit all the time, because never has it been mentioned anywhere that you have to have Sanskrit as a compulsory subject. That's not mentioned. Secondly, they've mentioned about mother tongue. Yes, mother tongue is important because children do get to understand concepts much better in their own language. They've also mentioned about Indian Sign Language to be standardized. And there is no mention anywhere that English cannot be considered as the first language. Now, see, in school like ours, or the school where your children go, or the schools that you studied in, if it had to be English medium school, so I'm sure if our children, if I go and ask my parents, what is your what kind of medium of instruction do you want in your school? So they'll say, okay, we want English medium. No, but we have to teach in their mother tongue. So the parent can always turn around and say, but we only speak English at home. I'm sorry, or we would like our children to speak English at home. So I don't think there's any hindrance to making English as your first language in your school. There's no mention of that. They're just asking you to make it a 3-language policy, which is already there actually. It's just about implementation. And there's no, they haven't asked you not to make your schools English medium. Also, as far as I feel, I think affiliations will become much easier, because now there's going to be state school standards authority. So you don't have to get NOC from your state, and then you go to the center for your accreditation and all that. So it seems that this policy is going to be it's going to really help the country. Of course, the only thing is about the mindset of the people, the understanding of this especially this 360 degrees multi-dimensional report card that we're talking about, where we're going to be talking about their psychomotor skills, we're talking about their affective skills, their communication skills, which was never there, or their sports, or their activities. So it's a very holistic 360 degree report card, which I don't know if people are ready for it. Another thing is about, the societal mindsets. And if there is anything like a one size fits all kind of an examination system, so we don't know how it's going to be implemented and how capacity building and development will happen for the teachers, because teachers are the backbone of the country and the school and the education. So if that is going to happen, we will be very, very happy. Only thing is, again, I somehow feel that this is the time, at the time of pandemic, we realize that we have never in any of our syllabus, any of our classes, have we learned how to manage crisis. So we are in this crisis, but no school, no textbook has ever taught us crisis management. And I don't know what will happen, but I'm hoping that this policy will take us a step forward. And if it, again, as I say, if it's implemented in its true spirit, I mean, it is going to be a fantastic thing for our country. That's about it. So I think ECCE and everything else is absolutely brilliant. We hope it gets implemented.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing your excitement with regard to NEP. I can see there are a lot of misconceptions with respect to actually mother languages that you've really cleared the air, because that we have been practicing since quite a length of time, and so there are a lot of. Thank you for sharing your views on this. Now, I would like Professor Dr. Prashant Kumar Das to share his views on this new current NEP 2020.
How much time can I get? So I will not.
Sir, like 15 minutes, 15,
Okay,
20 minutes.
15 minutes. Thank you. At the outset, I like to thanks Merchant Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Calcutta. This is a very timely action that you have arranged for this discussion, and you have also picked up people. Professor Kattimani was there, who was a part of this policy making. Then Madam Sapru, who has so excitedly talked about the school education. And then, of course, I like to concentrate on higher education. Being the Dean of Postgraduate Studies and Research, so though I am aware what is our undergraduate teaching, so I will touch upon all these things. The undergraduate teaching, that means which is there after the secondary, what is called secondary in the new in the national academic program, that starts in the colleges, and then of course higher education and research. And I will try to touch upon the interesting features of NEP 2020. And then I will also like to narrate some of our experiences and experimentation at IIT. Let's start with some sort of introduction. And actually, long back, Swami Vivekananda gave one definition, which is quoted by many people and known by many people. Education is the manifestation of perfection already in man. I can see the same thing is echoed in the national academic policy, that is reorganizing, identifying, and fostering the unique capabilities of each student. So there are quite a few interesting things in this, which is there in the introduction part of this document, that it has identified that two students are not equal, or it has appreciated that two students are not equal. Their capabilities, their aptitudes are not equal, even their aspirations may not be equal. But at the same time, this policy aims at fostering each one of them to the best possible way. So if this is the vision of this document, then we have to expect something more from it. I will now very quickly try to point out that why there was a need of such a thing. Madam Sapru has mentioned that we were waiting this for years together. Actually, the last, I mean, if we see the history, then in 1986, some sort of agenda was taken, but it was unfinished. And in 1992, some policy came. And after that, we have to wait for long. And now this new education policy has come. And in between, then let us see what is wrong, particularly in terms of higher education. Actually, I will just quote one thing that let's say the dropout rate. If we assume 100% is admission in primary, 72% remains in upper primary, 52% in secondary, 43% in HS, and only 20% goes beyond higher secondary in the present curriculum or present academic system which we are having. So this is one figure. Another figure, if we see that that is very, I mean, revealing figure, that we find more unemployment for better educated people. See, for school graduates, what is the unemployment rate? If we think of proper employment, then the unemployment rate may be double or more for college graduates. See, we conduct, I mean, we invite application for some posts. Let's say it is a lab assistant post. And then we find that even person with doctoral degree has applied for that post. So though the college graduate or even highly educated person are getting some employment, we have to really think that whether the person is getting suitable employment or not. So, and obviously the legacy goes on, or the I mean responsibility goes on the academic policy which we are currently practicing. So in that regard, the NEP 2020 has brought quite a few important things. First thing, let us think of some other threats also. So now the entire world is going in a big way to the digital digital platforms and digital implementation almost in every sphere of life. AI and ML, that has become household talk. But at the same time, I mean, if there we do not do something, then there will be more job crunch due to AI and ML, because many of the mundane jobs, many of the repetitive jobs will be taken by AI and ML. So we have to do something. Means if we keep our education policies, strategies and actions as we were practicing for years together, then these threats are there. Certain thing, the target of this NEP 2020, which we can find that GER, that means what is the enrollment, that is now probably 26.3%. And the target is it should be 50% for 2035. That means more people should be brought under the umbrella of education, quote unquote education. That is more number of persons will come within the umbrella of education, which should be, these two words have been repeated number of times in this document. That is, the education should be holistic and multidisciplinary, particularly when we are talking about the higher education. Certain things have already been told by our my previous speakers. IIT being a premier institute, even in IIT also, what kind of difficulties we find or what kind of experiences we are having. So let me share some of these experiences. So NEP 2020 talks about ACDG, that is socio-economically disadvantaged group. People, as I have started my talk, that students are not equal. Students, they might have academic capabilities, but there could be different kind of barriers. One barrier is language barrier. See, I have seen student who has attended all the class of mine, but done miserably badly in the exam. Then on personal interaction, when I have interacted with the student and asked what is the reason, the student told, sir, I cannot follow the lecture which is given in English. Somehow if I miss a particular sentence, from then onward the entire class seems blank to me. But he has cracked the most tough examination, entrance examination called joint entrance, and got a very good discipline. So here the problem is the language problem, and in a small scale in IIT we have tried to address this problem, and we could see that there could be enormous enormous improvement in the student. So when the education policy is talking about teaching the students in mother tongue or in some sort of a local language, which can be taken as an alternate, this is a very welcome policy which the NEP 2020 is telling. Then people can be disadvantaged due to other reasons. We remember one case, one very important success case, that one student came to get admitted in our mathematics stream and he was completely blind. We were at a loss what to do with that student, but the student's performance was quite good. Then the student told, or student pleaded, that he should be given a chance. All the classes the student attended with his mother. The mother used to take class note. And then what happened? The student stood first almost in all the exam, and for PhD he got an offer from MIT. So the facilitating the student which are otherwise disabled due to different reasons. Professor Kattimani has told that due to their geographical background, due to their social and economic background, and other reasons. So that we have to do, and NEP 2020 puts a mandate for this. So this I like very much, and I think it will be liked by everybody. Again, I will go to several other points, but now I like to quote another quote from Swami Vivekananda, and that is in Bengali. I will translate it. So Swamiji told, "Khali pete dharma hoy na." What does it mean? That you cannot achieve great things when you are in empty stomach. So if we have to have these lofty goals, then we should have also funding, and always the budget which has been allocated for education in our country, that has been criticized. So I can see that in NEP, higher budget that has been told, and particularly for research, there is a substantial increase, whatever budget they are targeting. That may not be adequate, but as a first step, this is a very welcome step, and I really look forward that people are facilitated for higher education and higher education and research, which is a part and parcel of higher education. Then the after school, what is the pattern? So the pattern is undergraduate program. Either it will be for 3 years or it will be for 4 years, but there is the provision of multiple exit and multiple entry. That means a person after 1 year can leave, but the person will not leave empty-handed. A person can leave after 2 years, obviously not without anything, without any recognition. Again, this is a problem which we face in IITs, that there are many students initially they thought that they will pursue academics. That's why, I mean, very seriously they could prepare and they could crack the entrance exam, come to IIT. But after that, the person got interested in something else. Maybe he is no longer interested in engineering, but he cannot leave the system. Year after year he is hanging in the system, because if he leaves, then after 2 or 3 years or even 4 years, he is having only a 10+2 degree. So now the NEP 2020 tells that if after 1 year a person leaves, he will get a certificate. After 2 years, if a person leaves, then he will get a diploma. And after 3 years, if the person leaves, he will get the graduation. And then there are programs for which are college program, which could be of 4 years and which could be of some sort of, I mean, more than the basic things. See, one example is that they have talked about 4 years integrated B.Ed program, Bachelor of Education. So there the person will learn the whatever subject it may be, arts, humanities or science, and at the same time also will be getting the teaching of education, so that we can make good teachers after this kind of a training. We have got similar experimentation. We have got, let's say, 4 years of engineering, that is common for all persons who are entering IITs. And then we have introduced that after 4 years, one can take 1 year special training in financial engineering. And it is cross-discipline. That means from any discipline, from mechanical engineering or from, let's say, mining engineering, people can come and at the end, they can do this financial engineering. And there is a great demand, and the employability of these candidates who has taken financial engineering at the end of their 4-year training. So that is, I mean, their employability increases to a very great extent. So this is another example which we can give, which is a very successful example, and NEP also talks about this kind of talks. There are many things, but 2-3 points very quickly I will touch and then I will end. Another thing is internationalization, which the again under the purview of higher education, NEP is talking about. So it is like this, that Indian universities will be able to collaborate with foreign universities, and top-ranked foreign universities will be able to open their branches, etc., or will open their extensions in India, and very top-ranking universities. This will bring a very good competition with the existing universities. Students being in this country will get the opportunity of having, I mean, the best of 2 worlds, and obviously we may also be also able to attract people from other countries, so that they will come to this country and do their education over here. There is also a proposal of credit transfer. That means a student goes to a foreign university, does some courses, those credit can be transferred. And lastly, I will touch upon that for research, what this document is talking. So it is talking about some sort of a research body. Let me get the name. That is NRF, probably National Research Foundation, which will be some sort of a funding agency. But not only it will be a funding agency, it will also monitor the research. It will not only put, I mean, facilitate a young faculty member for doing research by funding him. It will also nurture a matured faculty member, established researcher, and facilitate him for those kind of cutting edge research. So this is another thing the policy is talking about. For PhD students, also it talks about that the PhD students, along with their research work, they will be trained in pedagogy, they will be trained in teaching, and they will be allowed also take some sort of classes for the, for the students in the institutes where they are attached. And this will make them a better teacher when and almost ready when they will complete their doctoral degree. So this is another very big, step. This and very clearly it has been stated in the NEP 2020. So quite a few important and interesting and at the same time timely announcements are there in our NEP 2020. And this another thing I like to tell, that choice-based credit system. So far our education system is time-based. So one has to do 3 years, 4 years, something like that. But there could be students who are slow learner who may take more time, or there could be students who may leave for some reason in between, but they have to complete certain number of credit, and the credit also they can take according to their liking, aptitude, and future goal. So this is another very important feature of our NEP 2020. So we are all excited. Let us see how it is implemented, and also we have a great role in implementing it. Last thing which I will tell, that again, as it is organized by Chamber of Merchant Chamber of Commerce, that in the NEP there is a very large space for industry. In many of the program, industry and academia can hold hand together. In many of the program that can be initiated in the industry, particularly vocational training, etc., which are needed so much, so that active participation from industry is needed. With this thing, I would like to finish my talk.
Thank you, Dr. Prashanta Kumar Das, for sharing your views and on NEP 2020 and laying certain important changes that the NEP 2020 has taken care of with regard to undergraduate and postgraduate degree, the implementation of credit system, the importance of learning in my mother tongue language, and so on and so forth. We all are excited for the execution of the NEP 2020 and see what it takes and what it holds on for us in the coming future. Quickly, I would there is with few time we have in our hand. Still, I have answered a few questions that have come across. There is one specific question that I would like to ask. Here, one person has asked, how does NEP impact the preschool or Montessori institution that admit children aged 1.5 years onwards? So I would like Professor Kattimani to take this forward.
NEP speaks about from third year of age, the children can enter into preschool. Before, okay, so if it is below that, again, a private arrangement can be made. Yes, it is.
And Professor R.C. Bhattacharya from Globson Business has asked, there's a need to reorient the mindset of teachers themselves. How do we propose to do that? And as Ma'am Sapru has already mentioned, that there will be certain hours as 50 hours of teaching of education for the teachers. So I guess that will somewhere would help the teachers also to take care in implementing the present NEP 2020. And the rest of the questions I guess they have been taken care of. And now I would like to present my vote of thanks to all the speakers. after a very engaging discussion on the implications of the transformation of the education system of India, I take this opportunity to wholeheartedly thank our key speakers, Professor T.V. Kattimani, VC, Central Tribal University of Andhra Pradesh, Member, National Education Policy, Ministry of HRD, Government of India, Expert Member of Education Quality Upgradation and Inclusion Program, Ministry of HRD, Government of India, and Member, Standing Committee for Tribal Welfare, Ministry of Tribal Affairs, Government of India. Dr. Prashanta Kumar Das, Dean, Postgraduate Studies and Research, and Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, IIT Kharagpur, and Mrs. Seema Sapru, Principal, The Heritage School, Kolkata, for gracing the webinar and enriching all of us through their valuable views and insights. I also express my heartfelt thanks to the members of our chamber, friends, business associates, friends from media, and all the participants for their august presence in this webinar. The National Education Policy 2020, or NEP 2020 as we call it, is the first education policy of the 21st century and aims to address the many growing developmental imperatives of our country. This policy proposes the revision and revamping of all aspects of the education structure, including its regulation and governance, to create a new system that is aligned with the aspirational goals of the 21st century education, including SDG 4, while building upon India's traditions and value systems. This policy lays particular emphasis on the development of the creative potential of each individual. It is based on the principle that education must develop not only cognitive capacities, both the foundational capacities of literacy and numeracy, and higher order cognitive capacities such as critical thinking and problem solving. Also, social, ethical, and emotional capacities and dispositions. The rich heritage of ancient and eternal Indian knowledge and thought has been the guiding light of this policy. I believe with initiatives like these, we can identify and find solutions to rightly upgrading the education sector of the country. I propose a hearty vote of thanks and request you all to carry this with acclamation.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Namaskar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.